And the Pittsburgh Steelers select Dwaylen Butler, the Arsenal DB. Yeah, man, he's a great competitor. He's 6'3", 240 pounds. They'll find some use for him somewhere on the team. Great selection by the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers looking to get better right now. Welcome to the team, man. Welcome to the team.
Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. Your boy DB Khan is back, and I'm dressed well for the occasion. Of course, we're doing, the mock draft, Steelers mock draft 2.0. Last approach, I kind of went to the mock draft, just doing it in the style of what the Steelers probably a draft, initially, from what they need, right off the bat from what we know, because the free agency, I think, opens officially on March the 12th. So we'll probably see exactly what they're doing. But based on the reports, I think the Steelers are going to use free agency probably for offense, and then use the draft for defense. So that's kind of how I drafted the team this time. So we're going to dive into my picks right here, and we'll see exactly what the Steelers are going to bring in. Let's dive into that right now. Okay, with the first pick in the Steelers mock draft 2.0, I took Kenneth Grant from Michigan. If you guys watched the Steelers Syndicate one, I took him over there as well. He's a big brute up front. Amazing player. As you guys know, he's the counterpart to Mason Graham. Mason Graham was the big time. Now he's gonna probably be gone by pick probably 5 or something. But Kenneth Grant is a big body up front. The only weakness he really has, or the only knack to him, is he might can get a little overweight at times, but I think he has enough size, enough straight line speed as well, being that size and being quick and being able to get down there and being able to stop those gaps and being able to stop the run. The Steelers struggled in a lot. I mentioned it many times. I'm gonna keep saying it until we fix it. The Steelers cannot win. You can't control the trenches. You cannot win the game. We've seen it in the playoffs when we got beat by the Ravens the last few games of the season, when teams were able to run the ball on us at a high level. And a guy like this, Kenneth Grant up front, would be amazing. I wanted the Steelers to draft Jordan Davis a few years back when the Eagles took him. I wanted the Steelers to draft Cooper DeJean, Jalen Hurts. The Eagles took every player I wanted the Steelers to draft on this channel. But the Steelers have opportunity to bring their own Jordan Davis in. But Kenneth Grant, a big body up front, a guy who's very good at stopping and holding the front up right there and stopping the run and being able to go out there and make plays for the team. He might not be the best, of course. They said sometimes he have moments where he shine, of course. You watch him, he'll shine, he'll make plays in pursuit and get to the quarterback. Sometimes he have moments where he kind of disappear, but we don't need him to do that. We just need him to be out there and focal point to be to stop the run. We already had TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and the Hurt Base to get the quarterback. But it'd be an easier job for him to get the quarterback as well, in a sense, because you're playing with Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Highsmith as well, so it makes your job easier. So having that big body up front, like Kenneth Grant, would be amazing for the team to kind of get our run game, being able to stop the run game like the opposing team, because we've been getting cooked every single time. And the playoffs been the same story. The Browns did it to us. The Chiefs did it to us a few times when they was jacking us up, couldn't stop the up front. Even though they run the ball primarily a lot, they still ran the ball pretty well. And the Ravens definitely did it to us this last playoff game. They put up 300 rushing yards in that playoff game. We need to be able to get some big bodies up front and be able to stop the run. So I took Kenneth Grant with my first pick of the draft. Let's move on to my second pick of the draft. First I chose in the draft, my second pick was Tyleik Williams. Of course, I mentioned him on the channel before. I did the video during the end season, when the season was still on. I was doing end season stuff. I talked about him a few times. Tyleik Williams, an amazing player. He was still available. This time the stimulator actually did a good job for me. It did a good job and had a lot of players I wanted available. Tyleik Williams is a versatile piece. He's 6'6", very elusive and has great lateral quickness, so able to get to those gaps and get to the edge and do different things to stop the run. He excels in stopping the run. He did record 3 sacks last year and 3 sacks the year before that as well, Ohio State. So he's capable of pursuing and getting to the quarterback as well. He might have a limited, arsenal of moves, and technique, but like I mentioned before, the same thing about Kenneth Grant. When you're playing with Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and those guys on the outside, it makes your job easier. So you probably have opportunity where they can get different matchups and get different things to get open and get opportunities to get to the quarterback and make plays. So a guy like Tyleik Williams will be amazing. The Steelers need to shoot their front. Cam Hayward is an amazing player, still playing high level, but eventually gonna retire. He's 36, so you need to have replacements there. Kenneth Grant would be a good guy to bring in with Keanu Benton, and then you have Tyleik Williams, kind of your future. Cam Hayward, of course, is still playing at high level now. He played at a very high level on this past season, so having that guy right there kind of transitioning with those guys and having that up front will help out a lot, because the Steelers struggle with that. Larry Njobi always been banged up and injured. When he plays, he really didn't do a lot. And Materius Adams had inconsistencies throughout time and stuff. So it's time to bring some guys in who are going to help that front and help us stop that run like that. So add a defensive tackle up front. Kind of our biggest needs, really. If the Steelers handle business in free agency like they should, go out there and get a receiver and go out there and add pieces in free agency, then the draft should look like this, where you go out there and add nose tackles and defensive tackles up front, and then go out there and add cornerbacks, add those pieces like that to kind of shore up your defense and shore up spots around like that once you go out there and handle business. So we'll see if they spend some money in free agency on the receivers and on playmakers and stuff, but I think Tyleik Williams, if he's available right there in second spot, you got to take him. You could go back-to-back with defensive tackles, or you could go defensive tackle, cornerback. I wasn't going cornerback, but I saw my guy, one cornerback that I didn't like. I see him still available, so I was like, you know what? Let me go defensive tackle again. I was going to go defensive tackle, corner, then defensive tackle again. But I went DT, and then my next pick, as you probably know, is a cornerback, which I'm going to get into right now. My next pick, of course, is cornerback Darren Porter. I mentioned him before. I think I drafted him on SteelerNation channel. I did the SteelerNation one mock draft from Iowa State. Cornerback. He's 6'3", big cornerback as well, like that. Can play man-to-man defense on the outside. The Steelers need those type of guys because the Steelers want to get back to that old style of defense where they blitz in. We didn't really blitz a lot last year. We didn't play a lot of man-to-man defense, kind of sitting in that soft zone coverage that teams ate us up alive. The Eagles did at the end of the season. The Bengals did at the end of the season. The Ravens did in the regular season and in the playoffs as well. So we got to find a way to get back to our play style. And we have JPJ who can play man-to-man coverage at a good level. And you had a guy like Darren Porter who can play man-to-man coverage at a good level as well, and have the speed to match up with some of the receivers and the size to match up with big receivers and out-muscle them as well. He'd be a nice addition to bring in, a solid tackler as well, like that. Guys who are not afraid to go up there and be physical, to come in and help to tackle and make plays and stuff. I know some people don't want to see the cornerbacks making tackles sometimes, but it depends on the scheme. Sometimes you have cornerbacks who are very active in the same scheme. You can send blitzes in from the slot. They're playing nickel or something. They have more tackles and more than they're supposed to have and stuff like that. But I feel like I like the cornerbacks who are very physical. Guys who are not afraid to put their head down, to hit somebody, to make a play. And Darren Porter is one of those guys. He has versatility to play around different spots in the secondary. And I think it'll be a nice addition to anybody's team. He did pretty good at the combine as well. I think he'll finally fall. He might fall in the late second round-ish. I think he could probably be around third round. In the simulator, he was around third round, but it's just a simulator, so you never know. He was in there last time, so we'll see if he falls around that spot. But if he's available around now, I think you bring him in. You bring in a cornerback like that. I'm going to mention, of course, Harrison, another cornerback who I like a lot too as well. I drafted him last time. And of course, Will Johnson will probably be gone first round or something. Travis Hunter going to be gone probably first round as well. So it's a lot of different guys in this draft you can probably look to. But I think Darren Porter would fit well in the Pittsburgh Steelers style and scheme, adding that cornerback on the other side. As you guys know, nowadays the cornerbacks are all similar. There's a lot of like tall cornerbacks who are 6'1 plus and 200 plus pounds and able to run 4.4 and have the ability to almost like play receiver, but for defense a little bit. Because most of these guys play receiver and switch to the cornerback position. And that's why they're so good at tracking the ball. And he's one of those individuals like that too as well. So Darren Porter is available. I think you bring him in. A guy who can track the ball, a guy who plays. The only knack really of mostly cornerbacks is they get a little handsy, just like JPJ. They get a little handsy sometimes. They play very physical, but I'd rather have a guy who's physical and putting hands on somebody, getting like maybe holding penalties here and there, and then rather that guy getting cooked and burned to be scared to come up front to get physical with the receiver. So Darren Porter would be a great addition to add to the team. So I took him my third pick. Let's move on to the fourth pick of my draft. With the fourth pick in the Steelers mock draft 2.0, I took Trevor Etienne, brother of Travis Etienne, of course, from Jaguars. He's from Georgia. Running back, of course, he had 609 rushing yards last year, 9 rushing touchdowns, 194 receiving yards last year as well, and a few receiving touchdowns as well. He's a dual threat type of guy. Now, he's not an all-down back. I'm doing this based off of the Steelers maybe handling business because they kind of hinting around that they bringing Najee back. So if Najee does come back, this guy right here is one of those change the pace type of backs. Kind of like Jalen Warren, but a little higher degree and younger and fresher than Jalen Warren as well. So you add him in to the mix. His ability to catch at the backfield, to make plays and quick, make people miss and stuff. He has good straight line speed as well, like that, getting through the gap, seeing the line of scrimmage as well. I think he'd be a nice little combo, like a 1-2 punch with Najee, then have him complement Najee well. He's not really an all-down back like a DJ Giddens, like I mentioned last time. I drafted DJ Giddens with 1,300 rushing yards and running very hard and powerful and stuff, being 6'3", 240 and stuff. But he's kind of like one of those guys who can definitely change the pace for you and be a guy who can be definitely productive for you like that and make some big time plays. I can see him being one of those constantly putting up over 1,000 scrimmage yards maybe every season like that, being a dual threat guy at the backfield catching stuff. He played very well at the combine too. At the combine, doing those drills very well, playing there and doing all the little different 4-yard dash and stuff. So he's a nice player. He has explosiveness as well, quickness, lateral quickness, and be able to jump cut and stuff. So he'd be a nice guy to bring in to complement Najee. The way things are kind of hitting around, it's still probably bringing him back. So you have Najee as one, you have him as the 1B type guy. I think that 1-2 punch will work well, especially if you can add some receivers on the outside to open up more so teams would stop loading the box and just stopping our run like that. We'd be able to do more things. So I drafted Trevor Etienne from Georgia, my 4th pick, and then move on to my 5th pick in the draft as well. The 5th pick in the draft, I took Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma, linebacker. Kind of similar to Peyton Wilson, Patrick Queen type of linebackers, guys who can cover and guys who are very good in the run game, because he plays very good in the run game because he has a good vision and stuff, getting through the gaps like that. A thumper, downhill type, one of those hard hitters Steelers love. The reason I took a linebacker right here, I wasn't going to go safety at first. I was like, you know what, I can go linebacker. You never have too many linebackers, especially guys in the middle who can cover. He does a good job in man coverage against running backs, against tight ends. So you watch his film, and he also does a good job in getting downhill, making plays in the run game as well. And the Steelers, these guys know struggle in the run game sometimes too, so adding a guy like that would be very cool. He kind of similar to those type of linebackers who maybe might be he's 6'3", but he's like 220-ish like that, so maybe not the biggest linebacker, but he's still a thumper. Still can get down there and make plays for you. I think he'd be a nice addition to bring in. As you've seen last year, we got a steal in the draft in the 4th round. We got Peyton Wilson. You added him in there. I remember I was advocating about him last year in my draft. I drafted him almost every mock draft last year, and Peyton Wilson got on the team. He's a nice player, and I think Stutzman will be a nice player too as well, addition to have the rotational pieces. I don't know if Cole Holcomb is going to be back eventually, but we know we got Patrick Queen, who started off a little shaky but played better as time went on. Then you got, of course, Peyton Wilson played better. Atlanta Roberts is a little older, so that's why I went with the addition of Adam Stutzman. Atlanta Roberts also is an unrestricted free agent, so we have an opportunity to maybe resign him back to see if he comes back on a 1-year deal and stuff before. He kind of getting close to the end of his career a little bit. So adding a Danny Stutzman would be great. A thumper who can do some of the Steelers stuff that Atlanta Roberts does for us, and also a guy who can play in coverage as well. So I drafted him in my 5th pick. Let's move on to my last 3 picks in the 7th round. Okay, my last 3 picks in the 7th round was Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, offensive tackle from Florida. As you guys know, the Steelers need to add some more depth on the O-line. We know Bradley Jones is going to move back to the left spot, and we know Trevor Towner will be back, but we don't know how he'll look when he fully get back like that. So adding depth pieces, whether they do it in free agency or they do it, of course, in the draft, adding a depth piece right there to rotate in and out would be cool. Last year, he got a steal in the draft. They took McCormick. McCormick was very good. In the 4th round, when the Steelers go cornerback last year, but they took McCormick, and that actually turned out to be a better deal for the Steelers. Adding him, he started most of the season after, James Daniels went down with the injury, and he played well. So I think the starting lineup will probably be Zach Frazier at center. Then you have Trevor Towner on the right tackle spot, Bradley Jones left tackle spot, and then you have probably McCormick on the guards like that end, then Malu. I hope they bring James Daniels back, but we don't have to see if we roll with Malu or James Daniels. They're kind of like hinting around that James Daniels might be gone, so he might be gone right there. But I think you add a guy like Dixon in from Florida, offensive tackle, add a piece in. You can never have too many offensive tackle, offensive linemen, like I mentioned last video I did this. Those guys up front are taking a lot of punishment, a lot of hit. Every play they're active like that. They active run plays, pass plays, all type of plays. So having depth right there would be great. I also took, in the other 7th round pick we had, took Elijah Hazel, North Carolina cornerback. Add more depth in secondary. Steelers had a lot of guys get injured. We've seen Corey Trice get injured in secondary. He has potential to be nice, but he's still kind of a little hesitant out there. His technique and playmaking got to get a little better. So we had him. We have, of course, Beanie Bishop as well. And of course, we got JPJ. He got banged up at one point as well. Dusty Jackson got banged up at one point too. So you never had too many DBs out there. So I went out there and added Elijah Hazel, North Carolina cornerback. And then my last pick, I added Kamen Rucker, North Carolina edge rusher. As you guys know, we got TJ Watt, of course, who's Hall of Famer, of course, and you got Alex Highsmith, a great player too. Then you got Herbig, who's emerging as a good player, but you can also add another depth piece, maybe a young guy, maybe they add a veteran. They had Preston Smith there, but they released him to help some of the salary cap a little bit. So maybe you add a guy like Kamen Rucker from North Carolina. Some of these guys that sit around, I only know about Brandon. I don't really know about the other 2 guys fully. I just kind of got them for depth pieces. So let me know down below if you know about these guys around and sit around. But overall, I think this draft right here was kind of better than the last one. The last one I kind of did it based off of what we was just going by. We know this time I did it based off of what we hear about the reports. The Steelers are gunning up to maybe make some moves in free agency for the offense, like getting receivers in, getting the quarterback in, other pieces in as well, like that, running back, maybe resigning Najee back and stuff. So I went this approach to this draft, bringing in defensive guys. Adding Kenneth Grant from Michigan, Tyleek Williams as well from Ohio State, and then going with Darian Porter, 6'3" cornerback, big cornerback who can guard and press man coverage and play around and make big time plays and be a shutdown type guy. Then adding a guy, Trevor Etienne, to maybe pair with Najee like that, be a 1-2 punch combo. And then adding Danny Stutzman, Oklahoma linebacker, ability to go out there and be a thumper, downhill, can play hard in the run game, can also cover running backs and tight ends. So I added all those positions down there, then I added some more depth in the 7th round. So let me know down below what you grade this draft, and let me know your mock drafts down below as well. But I'll see you guys probably next Friday for another mock draft. Of course, I have videos throughout the week, NFL news and other Steelers videos as well, probably, as you probably see, and basketball stuff as well. So be on the lookout for that stuff. But I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.